Hello out there. I'm Dan, and I'm here to talk about some basics on this particular VST known as ElectraX. Seems to be pretty cool. I'm not a master at understanding these things by any means, but I know a thing or two. And so I wanted to talk about some of the basics, at least if I would have known, that really would have helped me move along with understanding how to use this a lot better. So I'm going to do some demonstrations with this and the basics of how this kind of will work and do stuff for you and make you happy and all that kind of cool stuff. Anyway, all right, so there's a couple things. There's one real main thing that's kind of misleading about this, but beyond that, no matter what you're doing, and when you open this up, it's going to come up to some vocoder that says Tone2, Electra2, blah blah blah, and it's got a bunch of cool presets. You can do stuff, and it sounds cool, and you can exit back out, and you can look at it, and you can reverse engineer, and you can be like, okay, well, for some reason they got some arpeggiators off, but it's displaying a number for some reason. Who knows? Synth 2 is off. It's only one synthesizer on. Okay, they're only using one synth, and they're using all three oscillators. Looks like they're using a low-pass filter there, an aliaser there, which is kind of like a noise generator, I think. And then a little bit of a wave editing tube deal. But anyway, so you can look at these things, and you can kind of, it makes different sounds. You can kind of understand how it works by looking at some of the presets and reverse engineering them. But the best thing that I can say that's going to help you out is to just go ahead and take a couple of hours. Just sit down, get pencil and paper, and just start from the oscillators and move the knobs and see what they do. And I'll try to help facilitate the simplistic way to do this so that it's not complicated and you can go on about your life. But anyway, so this is fun stuff that we want to understand. And so go down here to settings, and it's always a good policy to go to reset all. So you want to reset this, and it's a little bit misleading because not everything's actually reset. I mean, it's like with the meaning of what reset typically means. It's like everything's off and set to nominal positions and just like medium and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so filter 1 over here, for some reason, still has a low-pass filter going on. We want to turn that low-pass filter off because we're keeping everything simple. All right, and as you do with a lot of audio devices and other kind of daily bobs, you want to make sure that the volumes aren't turned all the way up, because you know how it is when your kids have turned up the stereo knob all the way and you go to turn your stereo on, you get quite the surprise. So anyway, policy, behavioral traits that make things easier and habits to get into, and keeps things simpler, and don't have problems. Anyway, we're here to have fun and do stuff that sounds cool and whatever. So anyway, so also it's got just one oscillator on one synth out of the 4 that are available. It's really cool. So you can really get some crazy stuff going on. All I've really done is messed with one synth at a time, and I've come up with some cool stuff. So anyway, one oscillator. I'm not going to go into every little thing that you see here, but this is just, like I said, we're keeping it simple, and we're just kind of explaining some things so that you can get to start using this, and then, building blocks, and kind of this is the best way to think about it. The other thing that's actually really misleading here is this mix knob by how it looks, and I'll get to that in real quick. Anyway, so we're going to start off with a sine wave. Go down to WT sine. I don't know what WT means because I just don't know. Anyway, so anyway, we want to modulate because that's why we're here. That's why we have a wave synth. So we're going to modulate, and really, in order to modulate real well, we want to have 2 oscillators going. So we're going to do that. It's going to be great. Anyway, so these pulse widths, they're kind of high. See, I'm going to push C5 on the keyboard, which is not that high of a frequency. That sounds pretty high to me, so that's a bit high. So we're going to turn that down. And, it's showing us a nice little sine wave. And there we go. What's really cool too real quick, is you can actually go down to here, go to sample, click on load, and then it's going to bring up a deal. And then you can go to, there's nothing in here at the moment, but you search a file that that has some wave files on it, like wave loops. You can actually load them. So anyway, self-explanatory. For those of you that have used Audacity, knows that it has a tone generator on it. You can generate a unique tone of whatever, and you can load that right into here. And and then push the keyboard and key on the keyboard, and it plays it. It's really fun. So anyway, back to wavetable. Sine wave, 2 oscillators. Okay. Enough said there. Mix knobs, signal out. According to this, it looks like a signal is going to go to the filters. At first glance, I didn't notice that there was actually 2 filters, because it seemed like the bottom part was a little bit different than the top part, on account that there's a serial, whatever, it's supposed to be something. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to be. But anyway, so we got, we're keeping it simple. So a mix knob, right? Well, at least, as far as I know, mix, whenever you see mix, it means that there's a signal going at least 2 different directions. And so I'm thinking that this is all kind of one unit. Figured that the signal was going somewhere else. And I knew that it had to be going at least somewhere somehow, because you could use your arpeggiator to do some things. And, well, the main thing is you could adjust your envelope for your sound, make it, change. And then it went up here, and you can adjust volume and frequency deals and some effects. You can insert an intermediate effect if you want to. But anyway, so what we're getting to is this mix knob. The mix knob here, it's a little misleading. So you look at it, it says mix 12. It's real fantastic, because it's, it seems like it's plus minus, it's 12, it's plus minus 12 dB. I guess it just, I don't know what it's doing. It's kind of just sending the signal and lowers and raises it and something. But how they show that over here on the volume knob, it's small little lines, and then they go big, and over here they stay big, and then they go small in the middle. But it says minus on this side and plus on this side, and I don't know what's that supposed to do. Well, anyway, what I found through trial and error is pretty simple. Mix 12 is not really mix 12. It's mix to filters 1 and 2. So it really didn't put that right. I mean, I know it's fine if you know what you're doing, that it doesn't matter. But to a beginner who doesn't know anything, he's going to look at that, he's going to get a little confused, like I did. So anyway, to demonstrate real quick what I mean by what this is and what it does is okay. So we got 2 oscillators going. We'll turn one off real quick, because we don't need to have 2 at the moment. And then this is on the left position, and so we're going to go to filter 1. And it's bypassing the effects and whatever wave shaping that, filtering it does. And we're going to adjust the wire. Okay, so we see that affects that through filter 1. Here's a second volume knob for filter 2. See if that just does anything, just in case I'm wrong. Nope, doesn't appear to do anything. Okay, so anyway, with that being said, let's go ahead and switch that mix knob over to the other side. And let's do this again. Okay, it doesn't appear to do anything. Okay, now we're going to go down to filter 2. There we go. Okay, so now we verified that when it's all the way over to the left, right, it's on filter 2. When it's all the way over to the left, it affects filter 1. So be careful that when you have both oscillators on, that you have both of these mix knobs turned, you intend to use it like that anyway, to make sure that because they're going to send, when they're in the middle, for example, they send the signal out to both of these filters evenly. But if you intend to have, like, if you're going to, because you want to use both of these oscillators together to modulate the wave, make a modulated wave sound. And so anyway, so we're going to go ahead and just send everything to filter 1, and we're going to modulate with it. Okay. Now we've noticed that there's a change in the timbre of the sound. Okay, that's what we're going for. We're going for changes in the sound. Anyway, and you can make a chord. Yay! We feel good. Anyway, so really cool stuff like that. So we're gonna go forward from here, and we might let's see. Let's adjust the pulse width a little bit. See what happens. Okay, so we can see that it goes really out of whack and really does some crazy stuff. But the main point of this, is to do all kinds of crazy stuff. But and I want to keep it simple, keep it to sounding fairly, just kind of nominal, and that way, it's just the point of this is just to show the functionality of it. And let's look at this fine knob. What's the fine? It says fine. What does that do? Well, that adjusts finely, minutely, instead of coarse, a lot. It's a little bit. Anyway, but what is that in relation to? Well, if we look over here, we got enter what? Oh, up there, you can look into the display up here, and it says interval on Oscillator 1, and this is octave. So those of you that are familiar with music, you know what an octave is. Intermediate, an interval, it's just basically a whole step up. If you want a semitone, you gotta use the fine knob. Anyway, so we'll push it, make a note. Okay, so we get a dissonant sound, which is to be expected when you raise up an interval against another note. Okay, now what happens if we raise an octave? Okay, it sounds mostly kind of the same, but it's just higher. That's what an octave is. The same note, it's just double the frequency. Anyway, so we're doing stuff like that, and it sounds great. This tone knob is changes. I'm not even really sure that this actually should be here. I think it should be, I'm not sure. It changes, I don't know. It just kind of changes it. I mean, I guess it's fine. It's a little minor change or whatever. For engineering, or for a visual sake, I probably would put that over here, because it's not really changing the frequencies like all these other knobs are doing. So anyway, so we're changing the sound. It's great. We can add a third one in too. Take it up. We gotta go and get that sine wave back going. Reduce that pulse width down. Basically, it's like throwing more waves in there that have different timbres to create a new kind of timbre. So you can do that, and then you can go to synth 2 and turn it down. You can do the same thing here, and keep on going, and blah, 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 and do that, and go move onward and upward. But we're just keeping it simple. So we're anyway, just 2 oscillating, modulating, and coming in the filter, it's bypassing through and going to basically the envelope, and then throughout the dealy bob. That's the explanation I wanted to, with the mix knobs. It's sending to filter 1, both of them, or filter 2, and all the variations between. So, anyway, so the filter deal does its, has its, that makes sense. Low pass up to 12 dB, 18, 24, or digital. I messed around with it. I don't know. It was a lot like LP12. So high pass frequency, that's self-explanatory. Bandpass, it just takes the middle frequencies and throws the filter up and down from the middle frequencies. It's whatever. A lot of this stuff is kind of just like presets that just kind of change like what the dealy does, and I don't know. you can mess around with it. It just gets different kinds of tan. It's basically a wave shaper, and you just like mess with the shape of the wave and manipulate how it looks, and it just changes the way that it sounds, and so on and so forth. And then, but anyway, so this is really cool stuff. Because of what I'm going to show you next, I'm going to go ahead and put an effect on here. The comb's pretty cool because it kind of just changes the deal. So anyway, so we're sending to filter 1. Both channels are both oscillators are sending the signal to filter 1, and just move this cutoff knob so we can move that gate, basically that's gating a frequency, gating different variable frequencies. Hence the look of a comb and the name. Anyway. Resolution of this change in sound, I guess. Some of these I'm not totally familiar with, but anyway. And we're going to go ahead and throw, these are all kind of presets for distortion or whatever. Just do all the way to shaper, it seems to do the most. Okay, so it's, definite sound change. Okay, so we got that going on. It's really cool. I don't want to talk about all the different things. Real quick on this arpeggiator. This arpeggiator is, you can turn it on, and then it's going. And beats per minute, I'm not sure. That's not 1 beat per minute. That's doing a bunch of beats per, it's like one. I don't know how fast it really is. I don't know why they describe it like this, but that's slower, that's fast, and then you can speed it up. Anyway, the middle here, I have no idea. I've messed around with a whole bunch. 1 through 8, I cannot figure out what the difference is that they do. And S. 1 through 8 and S all seem to do the same thing. R rests the note, so you put R there, it won't play any note. And in that particular spot, you can go to here. If you put L, it's going to loop from that point when you push the key. But since I have a rest there, it's not going to, play a note, and there's nothing there. And so anyway, we'll put an S there because it does the same thing as 1 through 8. So that's really good. Anyway, so that looks like it's glitching a little bit. Anyway, so you go down to here. If you actually push E, it'll actually end there. It's got to be activated with a note before a change takes effect, I guess. Anyway, so it ended there. Song, you can hold it down. Trigger, you got to keep pushing it. That's the difference there. And so the loop, the end, the rest, and then the S 1 through 8, I don't know, they just make the note happen. And the note down here, you push at the bottom. Each positive number brings the note up from the key that you press. Each negative number brings the note down from the key that you pressed. And the backslash notes pitch from, I think, down to up. Let's see. Oh, I don't have that's a rest actually. So we need a note. Oops. Like that. So S and then backslash 6. I don't know. It's actually what we could do is slow it down just a tad. So it's pitching from up to down, and so the forward slashes pitch up. Okay, so that's, boom, there you go. Anyway, so 1 through 24 with some numbers. So anyway, so you can kind of do that. It's really kind of incomplete. I don't think that the software engineers, it just wasn't, they're high on their list of priorities. But anyway, it does do kind of the basic things that you would expect an arpeggiator to do. Anyway, so moving on from there. Volume envelope, that's pretty self-explanatory. Attack, decay, sustain, and release. How fast the note happens. We're going to turn this off. Slow. Okay, Pretty self-explanatory. And then decay, it just means that when it goes up and then it comes back down. Means the note slowly declines in velocity. Sustain just kind of, you know, holds the current velocity, and release it lets off the velocity over time, like so. Okay, so anyway, so now we're going to the part that I like, the matrix view. The matrix view is off right now. Anyway, what's really cool about it is, anyway, think about it. All these affect each other up and down, up and down, up and down. So anyway, so think about it like there's a knob here and a knob here. So this knob has all of these options. All these other ones, I'm not, you know, it looks like they're presets that kind of change. I'm not even really sure what they are right now, but for the sake of time and blah, 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 we're just going to go ahead and discuss what the low frequency oscillator 1. Low frequency oscillator 1 is defaulted at 5.3 hertz, which, before I get into this, let me say real quick that this is not the signal that you've made from up here coming through here and going to here and being manipulated and then whatever. Well, this is telling, what you're doing here is you're just saying low frequency oscillator 1, you're telling it to adjust a control knob based on the frequency selected to time its adjustment. So, for example, let's go ahead and we're going to go over to FM2. FM2 is going to change the, you know, I'll demonstrate real quick. So that's the difference in sound that's going to make. So that's what we're going to expect to change in. Now, depending on how much of that change we want to occur, depends on how high of a number we put in here. So we just click on it and raise the mouse up and push the key down. Okay, so there it is. Now we're not going to turn the knob very much. Now let's adjust the frequency of that, of how we're turning that, how fast we're turning that knob back and forth. Okay, so there it is, and there you go. And so you can use the same oscillator and then do power pulse width 1. So that's really cool. And so we can, you know, you want to do a little bit different timing on something else, go to LF2, click on 2, and then let's see, let's send it to cutoff 1. Cutoff 1. Sorry. Power, da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm sure that some of you have already spotted it already, and I just can't seem to find it. There it is. Okay, and then we're going to affect it. Now, because I you know, this pulse width, so it was bothering me. So we're on this numbers move too fast, where you push shift and left click, and then they move slower. Okay. So anyway, so it's really cool command kind of thing to control the you know, I mean, I don't know, there's quite a bit of options. So you can use this low frequency oscillator to turn knobs at a certain frequency, and from the bottom number as much as you want or as little, based on the desired effect you want to get. And you have up to 10 different selections so you can do 10 different things going on. And that's on synthesizer 1. And you could do everything all over again on synthesizer 2, 3, and 4. So it's really great. Lots of stuff you can do. And not to mention the effects that you can put into there. And also take the time to learn, you know, about the settings and stuff like that. I could change this and do this, do some analog heavy and some higher quality. And sound is a little bit different. And mind you, we got filter 2 too, so you can send that signal through, making that sound there, and then you can mix that signal into here and have that signal change a little bit, and you can even pan that this signal to come out the right speaker and that one left speaker, and so you can have 2 different sounds going on, and you can mix them together and do all kinds of cool stuff. So thank you, and have a nice day.